Hello. I wanted to share with you today a quick video on secondary source searches and how you go about completing this. So as you know, you've already selected a topic for your research project. And the next step is to complete the secondary source research topic / research question worksheet. So you can complete the worksheet by clicking on the assignment, and then you can open it this way. And you can type on this, or you can answer the questions as a Word document. It doesn't matter. Either way is fine. But in order to find scholarly sources to do your research on your self-selected topic, first, you're going to search for sources. And you're going to identify 3 secondary sources from either journal articles or books, and then 2 primary sources. If you remember, there are primary sources in each chapter of Strayer, so any of those you can use. Remember the difference between a primary and a secondary source. A secondary source is written by experts after an event, and a primary source is written at the time of an event. So, to search for secondary sources, we're going to first go to the Robert W. Woodruff Library homepage. I'm going to click on it in our Canvas class, and I'm going to click Open a New tab. This is going to bring us to their homepage. So the best place to start to look for sources is right here and searching the library catalogs. So I've seen a couple of you tell me about your sources, your topics, and one I've seen is the Aztecs. So if I type in Aztecs here, or Aztec, let's say Aztec history, I can click Aztec history and articles. That would be a good place to start. So I'm going to click that. I'm just using that blue search bar right in the middle of the page. And the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I'm looking at peer-reviewed articles. And to make sure my sources are peer-reviewed, I can just click this option on the left-hand side under Content Type. And peer-reviewed means it's written by experts, other scholars have reviewed it and agreed that it's a valid interpretation. So typically when you're looking for resources, you want to use the most recently published titles that you can find. Sometimes that's hard to do. You also want to make sure that the journal articles or book titles, are history-based, right? Rather than sort of like medical or language. You want to make sure you can understand it, because often you will find things that are very difficult to understand. I know I do. So this one looks good. Aztec history, peer-reviewed, it says so here, in the Journal of the Americas, April 2018. So this one is looking at polygamy, which is marrying multiple people, and the rise and the demise of the Aztec Empire. Looks interesting. So I can click on the text. Now, in order to search and access the library's holding, you do need your email, name, and account. The same information for and I'm already logged in, but you need the same information as you would for your university email. So here we have an abstract. So this is going to tell me what it's about. I can access the full text if I wanted to use it. Oh, neat. How neat. And I can also download it. I can email this to myself. I can also get a copy of the citation. So you're going to need the citation for your assignment. So I can get it into an easy bib, or I can just copy and paste it and then put it into a document or complete it on the worksheet. Either one. So then you're going to use that as your citation. You're going to write a short description of the article, what's it about, and then how you intend to use it. And you're going to find 3 articles or books, or a combination of articles and books from the Woodruff Library to use in your research project. So I will pull up my PDF again of the assignment. isn't. Sorry about that. None of these are even it, so that's annoying. Yipes. All right. So here we go. Let me pull it up again. So sorry. Here we go. Secondary source worksheet. This is it. And I'm going to write a quick description of my topic again, just to remind your professor what you are writing about, just again so I can make sure that they are aligned. And I would have the full citation for that journal article and then a brief description of what it's about. Then I'm going to find 2 more and fill it out in these 2 blocks. Then I would identify a primary source, and I could go back to the Strayer text for that, or I could look at Aztec primary sources. You might hear my daughter talking to me now. And see what potentially one could find. This is the Internet Source Book. We've used this before for an assignment, and you could look at some of these speeches. This would be one. It's a little bit outside the time period, but it would certainly be usable. Or again, you could go to Strayer and look that way. Aztec sources. Nothing's coming up yet. Ah, neat. So this is a depiction of what the Aztec capital, which would have been in modern-day Mexico, Tenochtitlan, would have looked like. And you can see, obviously, it's going to have a dense population. The source of this, again, is Robert Strayer, which is, of course, the textbook we're using. You could use a picture like this about human sacrifice. You could use this that is depicting cross-cultural contact, or any of these, right? So you can do a Google search, but make sure you use primary sources. Now, I've searched a number of things. I found great resources on the Aztecs, on Buddhism, on caste. So I took a brief view of some of the topics that you all have submitted so far in order to do these searches. So please let me know if you have any questions as you use the library first and foremost to find your secondary sources, and then really use the Strayer text, again, which you can access through the Macmillan Learning app, to try to find primary sources. And again, if you want to use primary sources that you find off the internet, that's fine. You're not going to find a lot of journals on the internet unless you do like a Google Scholar search. But you really want to make sure that you use the most recent articles and books that are published, and you want to make sure that you are using history sources. So please let me know if you have questions, issues, or concerns, and I look forward to reading more about the sources. Oh, right, and the final thing you want to add, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to list your primary sources. I did it again. But you're also going to post your research question. So a research question should begin with how or why. This is what I'm looking for. You don't need a what. That's very easy. You definitely don't need a who. You don't need an if or speculate and other types of speculative questions. So again, typically the most effective research questions begin with how or why. And I've also uploaded a couple of resources in the assignment to help you with that. I look forward to reading your worksheets and reading about your sources. And again, please let me know if you have questions. Thank you.